All right. Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you tell me or everybody a little bit about yourself? You
Who I am and what you said, sorry.
and what you do.
So my name is Charlotte, and I am an experience design and community builder. I most recently worked with a new university, which is rethinking higher education and sending students to live in 7 countries over the course of 4 years. And I was designing programs around culture, community, and professional development.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you first hired me and what you wanted help with?
So when I was 17, I think, the gynecologist told me I had PCOS, and mainly I had a lot of acne in my back, and she put me on the pill, which totally solved
Yeah.
the acne, which 10 years after I learned that it's actually a band-aid rather than really solving the issue. But I wanted to stop the pill and stop like putting, I guess, like relying on something chemical. And I wanted to reconnect with my body, and but I knew that the acne might come back, and it did about 3 months after stopping the pill. And the gynecologist basically told me you can either go back on the pill or take antibiotics, which wasn't really a solution for me because you can't take them in the sun, and I spend most of my time in sunny countries. Um, and and so then I had read that you could regulate this with food, regulate hormones with food, and I knew that you had worked a bit on that, and so I was wondering if I was curious to see if that would work as well for me.
Right. Yeah. So what was your experience with that like? Like how was your life different now than it was before?
Um, it's hard to say my life, but I would say more that I feel more connected to my body, and I feel it's been super enlightening to understand how much we control what happens inside of our body as well as outside.
Right.
Um, and and it's also enlightening to realize that doctors, I guess, like most, or the mass um, uh, the mass of doctors don't really know or share that knowledge, at least with us, and so you kind of have to do your research on your own, and then and find someone who is willing to experiment. And also all of our bodies are so different, and so what is going to work with you might not work with someone else. um, and so yeah, it's been, I think, an interesting experiment, and I'm so grateful to have seen the changes and to feel more connected to my body in that way.
Amazing. And going back to it, a lot of the time, patients go to doctors wanting a quick fix, and doctors go to is like, what medication can I give them? And so it's hard to always find someone who's going to really look at all of the foods and your lifestyle and go into that. So, what was it like? You did shift your diet for this. And so what was that experience like? Was it challenging? Did you have any things holding you back from it, any reservations? What were some of the challenges, if any, that you felt or experienced?
I think I didn't really have reservations because there was a lot of trust between you and I, and also because I'm always in a position where, if you're the doctor or the person who is supposed to share your knowledge on the topic, then I don't know anything on that. So you're the specialist, and so I'm gonna listen and try and see how I feel. But and also it was, I think, quite cool to see that I already have quite a balanced diet, and it was only like, even though I think maybe over time or when it was stricter, it felt like a lot of changes, or at the peak, it felt like a lot of changes. But actually, the first week, for example, was super easy because it was basically my normal diet. And so, and then when we started to take out stuff, some of it was challenging, but I never thought that it was maybe as challenging as people think that it will be. I think that, and now I've continued to stay on a similar diet, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just in general, it's knowledge. I love knowing what is good for me, and so it's great to know that and to be able to apply it so easily. And Yeah, so I would say, maybe the week where I couldn't have fruit at all, that was hard. But I realized that actually I don't eat that much sugar, even in general, because I don't know if there's a because, but but it's also interesting to better understand what your habits are. Yeah.
Nice. And what have you experienced with your body? So what changes have you noticed from, working together and doing this diet?
Yeah, so I would say there are two main changes. One is that I started having my period regularly, which is insane. And like, that's the one I think that shocked me the most. And it happened pretty much as soon as we started making changes. So this is also like, I don't know, I'm still mind blown by that.
Well, I remember it took like a month for the changes to really happen. You were like, how much longer do I have to wait?
yeah, but a month, when you think of periods come every month, so
yeah,
it's
true.
So it's a month, and then it happens, and then your periods come again a month after.
Right.
So that's, I think, pretty crazy. And then changes also in my skin, which I would say now I barely have new acne. I have lots of scars on my back, so I'm hoping that with time it'll go away, which I'm pretty confident, because I can already see like areas where there's no more scars. So yeah, that also, like, to think that we started this, I don't know, mid-March or something like this, end of March maybe, and it's just a few months after that already all these changes have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm excited to see how it progresses even over the next few months. Well, you're still sticking a rough outline of the diet. Yeah. What would you tell anyone who is considering working with me to help their hormonal balance?
I would say that it was interesting because when we started, I think you told me I've never helped someone who has PCOS. But I know about gut stuff and we can try. And I was kind of like, yeah, sure, let's try. And so I would definitely say that your stuff, and it's less about a specific condition, more about just in general what is irritable to the gut and what is not, and how to make changes that can be that are sustainable. And I think it has also just changed, I don't know if changed, but impacted my perspective super powerfully on finding the root cause of something that is bothering you versus putting a short-term solution. And I think, yeah, for you, it seems that it's more like a passion project or something you do on the side of, like, you know, you have this certificate, and you know a lot about the gut, and but it's not your main activity either, but somehow you know enough and a lot for it to help people. So I think that's already amazing.
Amazing, thank you. And what was your favorite part about working together, or from the experience you spent together? What was your favorite part, or from, you know, your own self
Yeah,
on the side, what did you enjoy most?
I think from working together specifically, uh, there's something about energy which is hard to really to put into words. I think it's partly because we were already friends, and so there was this trust between us, but also I think it's your personality that is like positive and uplifting, and so it's great to be working on something that is annoying with someone who's positive, because you're excited to find solutions together and to work through things, um, and it doesn't really feel like homework, you know. It feels more like a fun exercise. Um, so maybe I like homework too. But yeah, so I think there's that on that side, and then on the other side of more the program, what I loved was like being mind blown by how much you can change these things with natural elements.
Right. Yeah. Give your body half a chance and it can heal itself, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, what's crazy also is that we don't know about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy is that we should know about this, and somehow it's hidden from most of society.
Right. Yeah.
We've like moved away from these things.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.